There's this weird pressure we put on ourselves to always be moving fast. To have the morning routine, the to-do list, the 5-year plan. And for a while, well, honestly, for a long time, I was living like that. But my body has had other ideas, and I've been feeling it. The exhaustion, the tension, the migraines, the flare-ups. I realized I couldn't keep doing this anymore. The season of life isn't about rigid plans or perfect routines. It's actually about trust. Trusting that even when things feel slow or uncertain, things are still moving forward. So here's a few days of my life. Nothing overly structured, just showing up for myself in small ways, moving at my own pace, and letting that be enough. The thing that I always forget about LA in the summer, just actually probably anywhere in the summer, is how hot it gets and how much slower I need to move. Like just walking around, doing anything, you just need to be slower. And so just giving myself more time to do things is new because I am always trying to fit the most in. I always think that if I have 20 minutes, let me see if I can do 3 things in 20 minutes because I should be able to for some reason, which is not necessarily true and or the best way. So taking my time to do errands is a new concept for me, and one that turns out is way more enjoyable when you're not pressed for time, trying to get everything done, and then feeling overwhelmed and not even present in doing what I'm doing. So very similar to kind of rewriting the script with my morning walks of not having PTSD, of doing calls on a morning walk. I also don't want to be rushing my errands all the time and just like moving so fast through life that I miss living. So even dropping something off at Goodwill, I don't necessarily need anything at Goodwill, but I will be walking through just to see if anything speaks to me, because I think that's how you find unique and fun little vintage pieces, or even just like secondhand pieces, is they speak to you. You don't always have to go and look for them. And getting lunch, gonna go get lunch with Michael, which is lovely because we don't always get to do that. He had actually been away for quite some time, so he's finally back and stealing these little moments that we don't always get, especially with his work schedule. And now my work schedule is a little bit more flexible because I do really set my hours as a creative entrepreneur, which is how I'm trying to re-identify myself, because I still am doing my consulting. I'm doing a lot of different creating content and finally pouring myself into things the way that I've wanted to with the best of my ability, rather than it being just like rushing through it. So no more rushing through. The mood, the motto is no more rushing, being more present is what I'm going for. it is insanely hot out, and I find I just get so dehydrated in the summer months. Obviously, it's hotter. We're in the desert, LA. The humidity is not here, so I feel like my body just doesn't adjust the same. But I'm obsessed with the Propel water. I don't know if you've ever tried this, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's probably the only electrolyte drink that has 0 sugar, and every ingredient is a real ingredient. And it tastes really good. Like, it's not as salty as some of the other ones that also have sugar. It just has good flavor. I genuinely feel my body like rise with energy when I'm drinking it. It helps so much. And I really need it. I went on the longest walk this morning. So similar to rewriting the script of, my morning walk, I just had to take a longer one. I was going to push myself and go for a run, but it is going to be like 34 degrees, 98 Fahrenheit, like around that today. And I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea. So I'm glad that I sat on it. I talked to Michael. He was encouraging me to lower my expectations of what I should be doing physically today, just especially with the weather. And I'm in my luteal phase. So why would I think now is the time to run in heat like this? Like, it really just doesn't make any sense. So I went for an extremely long walk, and I just did a little light circuit workout. I've been trying to do my upper body more because I find when I go to Pilates, we do Pilates arms on the machine, like on the reformer with just the tension. I am struggling so hard, and I don't like that. And I also know from sitting here at my computer or my laptop or my phone, this whole part of my body is just like not as strong as it used to be. And I just need to tone up my body. I need to work on my back. I want to have good posture. So I'm committing to doing that little like circuit that you saw every single day. I do 3 rounds, 3 repetitions. I don't even know what the correct terminology is. I do it 3 times every single day. And I'm not someone who normally would do something like that. I'm very like organized and dedicated to my workouts. Like, I like to have the structure of the workout. I'm at the gym, I'm at Pilates, or I'm doing like a home workout following a routine. But I think adding that in is just like, it takes less than 10 minutes to do it 3 times through, whether it's before bed, when I wake up in the morning. Just prioritizing that to happen every single day is allowing me a bit more flexibility, not fully structured, a little bit more flexibility, but also just like focusing in on these areas and not making it harder than it has to be. I think I have a tendency of making things a little bit bigger or harder than it needs to be. So digestible sizes, slowing down, being like changing the way that I've done things before. I think that's the biggest thing I'm learning right now is I've done so much very structured in my life, and it has served me so well for so long, but it's clearly no longer serving me. And that is a hard realization, that being so hard on myself with rigidity and structure and thinking that there's like only one way to do things, like it's either black or white and there's no gray, there's no in between, has helped for so many different things in my life and is very beneficial, but it's no longer serving me. And so recognizing that and being able to recognize whether it is a season, a job, a friendship, a lifestyle, whatever it is, recognizing that it's no longer for you, it's no longer serving you, and starting to make those changes to not necessarily like get rid of it, but maybe just change how it's been, restructure the structure, and look at things differently, add in a little bit more flexibility, like I was doing yesterday, like doing my errands slowly and being more present. Not just rushing through and seeing how much I can get done in one day and being like, I gotta get it all done because I wanna be a high achiever. It really is about just changing how I've done things, recognizing what doesn't work for me anymore, and trying to find out what does without putting pressure on myself. And that's something that I know I've had to navigate through, especially living with chronic pain. This is a very common theme that I come back to, is like the listening to your body isn't black or white. When you are in pain or you're not in pain, it really does matter how in tune you are with your body. If you should be pushing yourself, or like running a 5K when it's 98 degrees, or not pushing yourself and just doing a long walk, because I still want movement, but I don't want to go so hard that I'm going to hurt myself or set myself back. And being in my luteal phase, my energy is just so much lower, and I need to honor that. And I think that's one thing I'm trying to do as I mature, as I am in my second act, is just honor my body more and not feel like there's so much friction between doing the things that I know are right for me versus the things that I want, and trying to kind of like bring those two together. I think that's always been a struggle with me dealing with chronic pain and having to say no to so much because of chronic pain. Is there's so many things that I want to be able to do and I physically just can't do it. Whether it's because I have a migraine or I know it's going to trigger a migraine cycle, or my endometriosis is flaring up, or it's going to trigger my endometriosis. All these different things, it really is like kind of walking a tightrope. And there's a lot of times that it's like, I just want to go and try things and have fun and not worry about the repercussions. But that is not my life. So I'm honoring myself by allowing myself to try things differently and find that gray in between the black and white, which feels new, very strange. It's not going to happen overnight. It's definitely going to be a process, but it's a part of the process of my second act. And now I'm getting to work. I do actually have a couple things that I need to get done today for some clients. I do some consulting work for small, medium-sized businesses, which has been so fun to be able to pour into other entrepreneurs and help them. So I have a couple things I need to get done for them. And then I'm going to be editing some content, which actually has been so fun, like really learning to edit more, not just to like cut and paste, which I think is what a lot of people think editing is like, oh, I use CapCut and I just like cut and paste and it's good to go. I'm learning so much about like sound and transitions and changing color, or working with the volume of songs and having things flow better. Hopefully, if you don't think it flows, let me know. But I am really enjoying exploring editing as like a creative outlet. Obviously, creating content, a lot of times you need to be editing it. So it does go hand in hand with what I am working on. And if you caught my latest little motivational chat, you know that my discipline right now is just being consistent. So if you haven't noticed, your girl's being consistent. So a little round of applause for me for being consistent. Turns out listening to your body is so much easier said than done. And I do know this, but I am like very much in my luteal lows. And every month, I somehow seem surprised that I feel this way. Though I do know this is exactly how I'm going to feel. And I work very hard on my lifestyle, my diet, how I work out, what I eat, just my mindset to make this time better, especially because I do have PMDD, so it is extremely heightened for me. And I still, like, I know it's been way worse. How I'm feeling right now is not the worst that I've been feeling, especially years ago before I was diagnosed with PMDD. And then cutting out inflammatory foods has made a huge difference in my life. But whoa, the lows are very low. I literally am like, you cannot trust yourself. Anything you think, how you feel about yourself, truly you just cannot trust yourself when you're in your luteal phase, because it is not you speaking to yourself and about yourself. And I've been just really trying to navigate that the past like 24 hours. It really hit me yesterday. And so today I'm really trying to remind myself, like anything, any hard time, any hard season, this is not going to last. It truly is a few days. I'll literally wake up with my period and feel night and day, like so much better. So it's not a forever thing, and I don't need to be making any decisions or doing anything big or really like doing anything. I think that's the biggest thing, is realizing that during my luteal phase, I should not be like putting out energy or outputting content, productivity, trying to do things. Like I really should just be existing and just really soaking it up, just allowing myself to navigate through this and not put pressure on myself to perform or do, or have a checklist, a to-do list, and feel like I need to be rushing through that, which is very much me. Like even a to-do list of like what I should be doing around the home, of like tidying up and cleaning up and making sure that everything feels good, when that is not necessary right now. So I'm just learning, still forever learning, how to listen to my body, how to like check in with myself every single day, because I think day to day it is not the same. And so even though yesterday I wasn't feeling great, being a bit more intentional today, slowing down, doing some extra skincare, just being a little bit more loving with myself has definitely helped. And just allowing myself to kind of exist today is already feeling better. Like I already feel a little bit better just knowing that I'm taking that pressure off. So again, it's a journey. There's no destination. It really is the road that we're on. And just allowing myself to trust the process. I was texting a friend about this because I've journaled about it twice this week, 2 times in 1 week. So clearly it's hitting home that the season I'm currently in, especially anyone who's in their second act, the biggest theme right now is trust and patience. Trust that you are moving into the right place, that you're moving into what's meant for you, what is next for you, even if you can't understand it, you don't know what it is, or even if you do have an idea, it feels very vague and maybe blurry. And then having patience to not push it, force it, make it happen overnight. And that is something, as a Aries and a big 3 fire sign, patience is literally not in my vocabulary. So I am really working on that. But I do think those 2 things really do go hand in hand, is the trust and the patience. And just trusting the universe has such a bigger picture and plan for you that you may have never been able to imagine, you don't really know, but trusting that good things are always coming, rather than looking at life as like the glass is half empty. So I've really been sitting on that in terms of just where I am in the second act, and trying to answer people with something along those lines. Like I keep getting questions about what's next, what am I doing, what are my plans? And my plans are to be trusting and patient with what's coming for me and not rushing into anything. Because I think if I were to rush into something right now, especially entering my second act, it would be out of avoidance, and I would be suppressing like my emotions, my feelings, and it wouldn't really be authentic. And if you've been following me for any period of time, whether it is here on YouTube or on social media or my brand that I've had over 10 years, you know, I was saying authentic before it was a hot keyword, but truly being authentic and true to myself is very Mary branded. So I will continue to be that way no matter what. continuing to trust, to learn patience, and to listen to my body. Big learnings this week. And I had no idea I was going to be going through this like emotional upheaval in some ways, and sort of like this depth of learning more about myself. I really thought this week was going to be like a nice chill week and maybe more fun, maybe a bit more excursions, things like that. But it's okay. I'm trusting that I'm doing what I need to be doing for myself right now. If there's one thing I've been learning lately, it's this. Not every season of life is meant to be structured or fast-paced. Sometimes you have to let things fall apart a little, just to see what actually matters. I used to think discipline meant constant motion. Now I know it also means knowing when to rest, when to trust, and when to wait. Patience feels uncomfortable, especially when you're wired to push forward. But I'm learning, and maybe that's exactly where I'm supposed to be. Now I'm figuring out how to deconstruct all those shoulds I'd built my life around. Letting go of the constant structure and trusting that slowing down doesn't mean giving up. It's a work in progress, and honestly, I'm a work in progress. And for now, that's okay.